and views.
Welcome back to Prime News on HLN, continuing our conversation. What went on? Field trip for some elementary school students in North Carolina. Go to a plantation and part of a reenactment, a teaching about slavery. Tour guide picks 3 African-American kids to play the role of slaves. Now, here's a quote from the tour guide, who's African-American himself. His name's Ian Campbell. Said this to WSOC-TV in Charlotte. I was trying to be historically correct, not politically correct. I am very enthusiastic about getting kids to think about how people did things in 1860, 1861, even before that period. Let's bring in Kojo Nantambu, NAACP, there in North Carolina. Kojo, your thoughts on this as we got some more of the backstory there?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the program. And the lady was saying that earlier, the day before, they had pulled 1 black student and 2 white, and then this day they pulled all black students. I want to say I understand that the gentleman probably had no intentions of malice or an intent to hurt the children, but the danger was what happened that next day with the children on the bus. If you only use the black students to be a slave, then that can make them feel like that's the only role that they play in this country. And also, when white students are not being taught the depth of how slavery impacted on us, how cruel and how diabolical it was, and not have had that experience themselves, then it's easy for them to become a little bit obnoxious and begin to taunt other children. I think what maybe he could have done was call everybody, say everybody, come on, let's pretend we've been slaves. Give everybody that experience, and then nobody can look at the other person and say, well, you were a slave. And as far as the extenuating circumstances, later on in life, if one of those children who were utilized that day began to read and study the depth of what slavery is, it could really scar them, make them bitter, make them very angry, and make them detest just being here and detest what he did. So I think you have to be very conscientious when you utilizing and dealing with children.
Yeah, Kojo, good points. Let's bring Boyce in. Boyce, from what Kojo's saying, that basically this type of situation could set the table for the hurt and what happened on the bus. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. The problem in America is that when it comes to slavery and structural inequality, which is a product of slavery, we either don't talk about it at all, or when we talk about it, we talk about it in all the wrong ways. You see, slavery and racism, they are like festering diseases in your body, and you can't just decide to operate on yourself with a rusty butter knife. And that's pretty much what we're doing when we try to talk about race and talk about it in the wrong way. You cannot have a cute little program that describes slavery, because slavery was not cute. Just like you can't describe the Holocaust in Germany as if it were cute. So the fact of the matter is that when I heard what the child said to the other child, I understood, because I went through the same thing. Walter Curry, a kid in Missouri who was set on fire by a white kid in a racially motivated incident recently, that's exactly what the kid said to him before he set him on fire. I wish you were a slave again, because then I could do to you whatever I wanted. So these people have to be, they have to really sit down and really think about how they're going to redesign this program, because just because the black kids don't complain, that doesn't mean that they aren't scarred by that experience.
Yeah, and that's, and that's the, you couldn't imagine the hurt that went on that bus and what was said and the reactions there. Guys, I wish we had more time. Kojo, Boyce, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking some time on this topic. And as always, thank you for joining us. We'll have more news coming up. Stay with us.